Hello and welcome to another session of the Language Mantras channel. This is session number 10 of the Advanced English course. Today we have for discussions a few related words and phrases. Those are very much confusing. Very often we commit silly mistakes while using them. These words are accept, except for, accepting, and accept that. First come to accept. Accept is a preposition and it can be a conjunction also. So see the example first. I work for the whole week except Sunday. That means I try to exclude Sunday from a group of days, that is a week. 7 days make a week. But I do not work on Sunday, but I am speaking of say week, giving focus on week. That's why when I say I work for the whole week except Sunday, it's a quite good English. But if I say I work for 7 days except Sunday, this is not a valid English, logically not acceptable, because in that case I can simply say I work for 6 days. But I'm not saying that. I am saying that I work for 7 days except Sunday. No, this is not possible. In that case, we have to say I work for the whole week except Sunday. This is more logical because Sunday is a part of a week and I want to exclude that small part. Except is used when I want to single out a small part from a bigger group. Another example. All members of the club were invited except me. I'm also a member of the club. So members of the club make a group of people. I am a part of that group, but I am not invited there. So all members of the club were invited except me. Now come to the next word, that is except for. This one is a little bit confusing. Very often, except and except for are interchangeably used nowadays. The distinction is not given much importance nowadays, but I think the old school speakers and writers, they still try to retain the differentiation. So how? Except for a few small pockets, the entire city is affected by the COVID-19 pandemic. What happens here? There are two parts. Main part is that the entire city is affected by the COVID-19 pandemic. Now we can use except. Nowadays people are using, but I told you that those who are old school speakers or user of language, they don't do it. They say that when there is a kind of opposition between the first part and the second part, and when you modify the whole statement to making a reservation, except for is a better choice. So when to use except for? Except for is a better choice only when in a statement there is a kind of opposition between the first part and the second part. So except for a few small pockets, this part is opposing the major part, that is the entire city is affected by the COVID-19 pandemic. Another example. She is quite well now except for some cold and cough. So she is quite well. This part is opposed by cold and cough. Then there is a kind of contradiction in the first part and the second part. In that case, it is better to use except for rather than simple except. Priyanka has a very beautiful face except for her hair. So her hair in fact is a kind of opposition to her beautiful face. If I put that this way, it makes a very good sense, and we cannot compare hair and face together. And one thing more, that this is not used in the sense of without. We cannot say I couldn't have completed my studies except for your help. No. Without your help, I couldn't have finished my studies. Or but for your help, I couldn't have finished my studies. This would be better English. Now, so here we have a kind of contradiction between the first part and the second part. When there is no question of contradiction, we can use simply except. But when the first part and the second part, there is a kind of opposition, kind of reservation, kind of contradiction. In that case, it is better to use except for. Number 3, accepting. This is preposition, and this is very simple. Whenever accepting this word is preceded by not, always, and without, then it's okay, no problem. If accepting is preceded by these words, not, always, without, any one of them, then it's good English, there is no problem. For example, it was blamed that all without accepting the police. It was blamed that all without accepting the police were responsible for the riot. That means, including the police, everybody was responsible. So here accepting, actually it is not separating somebody from something. It is actually adding to something, because without is there. That's why it loses its excluding, the force of exclusion. Therefore, this word loses its force of exclusion because of without. Not accepting the politicians, that means including the politicians. All were found not guilty by the court. So court declared everybody not guilty. So here again, not accepting. Accept is actually excluding word, but not accepting, then it becomes inclusive. So everybody is inclusive. Not accepting the politicians, all were found not guilty by the court. So this is very simple. Whenever there are 3 words, not, always, and without, and they precede accepting, then there is no problem. Just write a good sentence, and this will mean something that is quite opposite to what generally the word accept convey. Now let's have a comparison between 2 things. One is accept and the other is accepting. Almost the same sentence. It is for further clarification, nothing else. So we have lost every match except the one we played on the home ground. It simply means the one game that we played on the home ground, we won it. We have lost every match except the one we played on the home ground. Other matches we lost, but one we won. But here we have lost every match, not accepting the one we played on the home ground. We have lost each and every match, including that one we played on the home ground. So this is the way we should try to make certain, subtle shades of differences, whenever possible. Except that is another phrase. Except that comes only when, something I have stated and I want to, oppose part of it. That means it must be a clause. I treat both my son and daughter equally well, except that I take my son to the sporting club once a week. So these are the things we have discussed today, and I hope this will help you in using the words or phrases we have discussed here. And I think we should stop today. As usual, we request you to subscribe our channel, write back to us, give your impression and comments so that we can communicate to you and we can improve our channel also. So thank you very much. We meet you again